attempting to find peace amongst all of this, like get away from everything.
Taking the bait, I'm gonna follow her.
Okay.
Taking the bait.
You know, bait is usually left for things that people want to kill, right?
It's my freaking mother. Does she say anything or notice?
As you approach, she's kind of looking at this, like looking down into this small water basin that stands beside the river to the southeast. As you start to approach, she hears your footsteps and kind of glances back and says, I never would have dreamt we would have met again.
Tell me about yourself. It's been 31 years. What have you been doing?
She kind of looks at you and she shrugs a bit and says, well, we were proud members of the Alliance, and your father was one of the Royal Guard. As I'm sure you are aware by now, I'm sure Bovictus has told you the story. But after your father's ship had sunk, I was so very angry. I believed that the Alliance had betrayed my family and destroyed everything that I had.
I don't know what to hear about the Alliance or the Empire right now. Tell me about you. Tell me about what... I want to know more about my mother. My father's gone, and my captain's gone, and half my crew, and... Well, you're all I really have left.
She kind of looks at you and says, well, there's not much to tell. When all the dust has settled, I needed a different life, and I wanted to be happy. I wanted to get away from all of the troubles that the land was bringing me. So I left and did my own thing, and I'm happy. I can do things to help the realm and make the world a better place. Even if they're small things, every day I'm able to do things for other people, and that pleases me. That makes my life complete.
And Lady Gladomain, she makes you happy.
And she kind of nods and says, when we gave your father his burial, even though we didn't have the body, I knew not what I was going to do. And when I allowed my emotions to guide me, I went to the Alliance, and the Gladomain took me in. They cared for me. They did everything. They provided me a home and safe haven from any of my troubles. It felt right to me, just being there in her presence and the kindness that her and her people had bestowed upon me.
I can't leave you again. I can't.
She kind of looks at you, turns back and kind of lowers her head a bit and says, I wanted nothing more than for you to be safe, even as a child, no matter what it would take. This battle isn't your place to fight. There will be no victors if there is a war. Our realm will forever feel the pain of our battles.
Oh, I was always good at running away, wasn't I?
Yes, indeed you were.
We could leave all this behind. We could take the mangrove, go far, far past the Sword Coast, deep into Faerun.
As you say that, she kind of lowers her head and kind of shakes it a bit and says, my place is beside Lady Gladomain.
And my place is with you, but I can't. All what have you been working towards? The reason we're here is for the Alliance. I don't know.
And she kind of stops you and says, there's no need for an explanation now. You must do what you need to do, and I accept that. Just as I accepted that the Alliance wasn't a place for me anymore. And she slowly turns away, kind of looking up at the sky. And as she does, you hear her kind of sigh a bit and says, do you know what happened to your father?
Yes.
I do too. I always wondered who it was that caused this.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. DM.
She kind of hesitates and says, I know too. I've just always wondered who caused it.
That I do not know. We found him, actually, his body.
You what? And as you say this, like, almost a coldness falls over her. Like, she looks at you, her eyes really big, and like her mouth kind of drops a little bit, almost in shock.
We found his ship, and we found him. Why not? We laid him to rest.
Wait, what do you mean you found him? How is that possible?
Found his body. It was amidst wreckage that was abandoned in the middle of the sea.
She kind of shakes her head, like not really knowing how to take this all in, and just turns away and says, I didn't believe it was possible to find him. She just like starts to trail off, like her voice becomes almost mumbling at this point.
From my bag, I'm gonna take my the box of effects that I took from the mangrove before.
Okay.
And from it just the golden necklace that I was first boarded the ship with. Which I presume was either hers or my father's. And show it to her.
Okay.
And just say, I've kept this all this time.
And with that, she turns and takes a look at it, and immediately recognizing it, a bit of a sadness and happiness both, like tears slowly starting to fill her eyes as she takes a look at it. And with that, we'll move on to the next person. Rylan, what are you up to?